Okay, YouTubers, this is Joe from ArtAlienTV. Another quick game of interplanetary I Spy going on here. We're looking at the moon, and we're looking at an Apollo image from Apollo 8, which was initially taken back in the late 1960s and was uploaded onto Flickr here in October of last year. So it's not been up that long, less than a year. And I've been going through a lot of the earlier Apollo missions recently because there's some very interesting photographs that were taken by the astronauts from the Apollo 8 and Apollo 9 and Apollo 10 craft. This is before they landed on the moon. These were preliminary orbits of the moon to determine whether it was safe to land or where they could possibly land on the Apollo 11 mission. So they were kind of recon missions, really. And this one was particularly cool because, unlike a lot of them which look straight down at the surface, this one looks across at the moon, and you can see the horizon, or the edge of the moon here, the top edge. So it gives you a better idea of orientation and the way up everything's supposed to be. But you can see it's tilted this way slightly. So what I did, I got the image and rotated it. Let's get my folder up here. Here we go. I rotated the image. Before I did anything, I rotated it because I thought, well, that seems to make more sense, because obviously the spacecraft may not have been orientated upright when it took the image of the surface. So I started looking in this area and I spotted this thing here with a rather strange kind of triangular shape and some upright structure here. Now I appreciate that's a bit hard to see. I'll show you the enhancements in a minute. And then I spotted this, and you can see a crater rim here with a very, very large structure sticking up, like a massive building or dome or some kind of structure. I couldn't tell you what it is, but it's a structure and it doesn't look natural. And this is probably at least a mile across, this crater, possibly 2. This one's probably 2 or 3, I don't know exactly. There are no annotations or there isn't much written about this image that NASA says anything about on their page. So I don't know the exact size, but these are very large craters, and you can see something in the image here. That's probably a piece of paper or hair or some kind of artifact that's ended up on the image when it was scanned. Now this may have been on the scanner. Often people don't clean scanner screens, and they get pieces of little tiny shards of paper and human hairs and dead insects and all sorts of things crawling into them. And also a lot of these images are damaged. As you can see around the edge here, you've got some damage around the edge where the print was probably stored and stuck to another print, and parts of it have come off, part of the ink has come off. And you often see image artifacts in these images, and they often look like people walking on the surface, but they're not. They're usually just bits of crap that have been caught up in the scanning process or on the actual print itself. Okay, you can see all these bits here. Okay, that's very common because these are very old photographs. They go back to the late 60s and early 70s. So there we go. So that's the area we're looking at. We'll just here. Okay, these 2 craters, so-called craters. Now I took some clips, and I'm going to show you again the raw image first. I'll show you all of these enhancements right at the end of the video, so you can really pause them and have a look a lot more closely. Okay, here's a raw clip again, and we have this large structure sticking up here, and it even looks almost like a house. This one here, you've got something very straight here and some kind of blocky looking structures here. This also looks like a structure. Okay, very odd indeed. So let me show you the enhancements. Here's the first one. Now I appreciate that doesn't look very sharp, of course, because it's been enlarged quite a lot and brightened. These images are often better if you view them smaller. Here's another enhancement. You can see this kind of house-shaped structure with a sort of curved top to it here, and almost what look like windows, but there can't be windows that big, of course. I mean, this is probably about a mile across. So these are multiple sort of structures in here, but we're only seeing the outer larger parts to it. There seems to be other things going on in here. So there we go. I mean, what can I say? And I'll show you the other one. Here's an enhancement of both of them together. This actually looks a bit clearer to me, because if you zoom in too far, it becomes very vague. And that's the mistake a lot of people make with videos like this. You've got to sit back a bit, and you can see that clearly sticks up from this crater rim here. And you can see these darker areas at the bottom here, and a lighter bit here. And this sort of side to it, and then there's this dark section. So that looks like it's angled here, and then it comes up again, and a sort of curved roof or top to it, whatever this thing is. I mean, it's insane. It actually looks like a sort of house. It's very odd indeed. I mean, how could you possibly have a house type structure that's a mile across, at least a mile across? It doesn't make any sense. And you have this has been brightened up considerably. I've added some contrast in there, and you can see this upright structure and this structure going across here, and these structures here. Now this looks like some kind of complex that may have collapsed, and you have this very bright part to it here, and these darker shadows indicate that there's something there. I mean, I don't know what that is. It looks like some kind of tower or set of structures. But zooming in too far, of course, doesn't help. So there we go. What could that be? That looks like a massive structure that's kind of collapsed and toppled over, perhaps. And this looks like a house. I'm not saying it is a house. I'm just saying that's what it reminds me of. You couldn't possibly have a house that big on the moon. But it may well be an intelligent structure. We have found lots of others. And in fact, I'll have at the end of the video a link to my playlist, my moon playlist, and you can check out all the other things I've found. I've found massive, huge towers. Some of them are collapsed. One of them's miles and miles high. There's a mushroom tower. There are domes disguised as craters. There are all sorts of crazy structures, and they are enormous, these things. Bear in mind that there's only 1/6 of the gravity on the moon to Earth, so it would be possible, if you were building on the moon, to build very, very large structures. And it would make sense, of course, to build in a crater, because a crater does offer some protection against radiation. Okay, so there we go. I mean, what the hell is it? Let's have a look at some of the other enhancements very quickly. I'll flick through these, but they will all be in at the end. There it is. I mean, of course, you get in close and it pixelates and breaks up. But I put some different colour filters on it just to try and view it in a different way. Okay. I mean, I think that one probably looks better because it's brighter. So there we go. I mean, you've got this curve to it, and this side structure sticking up with an angled part here. And these all almost look like entrances or something. I mean, could this be a hangar, a kind of alien hangar or something? I mean, who knows? But it's very odd and very different from all the other structures I found on the moon, which look a lot more complex in shape. This is a fairly simple shape, fairly basic shape. Much more basic and robust looking than a lot of the other things I've seen. Very odd indeed. So yeah, answers on the postcard as usual, guys. What do you think? Is it a house? Probably not. It couldn't possibly be a house that large. It's a structure. It looks like an intelligent structure. Who built it is another matter. It may well have been built millions of years ago by a culture we've never known and probably never will. Let's see it in the smaller clip here. Actually looks pretty clear. Let me view it like that. Okay. So there we go, guys. Massive structure in one crater which looks like it's collapsed, and a huge house-shaped, almost dome-looking structure in the crater right next to it. What are the chances of that? Okay, thanks for watching, everybody. I'll see you soon.